Good afternoon, Council, members of the gallery. My name is Stuart Klasinga. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to present to you today. The goal of my presentation is to show some people's lived experiences of dealing with inadequately cleared sidewalks. The slides consist of tweets, some with pictures, some with messages the posters have given me to deliver directly to you. This slide shows a picture from Maine and Emerald. Vehicles were able to get around with no issue, but the small amount of snow on the sidewalk made it unsafe for this person in a wheelchair, whose only option was to use the road. Kaylee lives in Toronto. Her parents live in Dundas. Last year, she slipped on an icy sidewalk and was knocked out. She's facing possibly lifelong cognitive problems as a result of her post-concussion syndrome. She's terrified of walking this winter. She wants you to know that snow clearing is an accessibility issue and that she is living with the consequences of pedestrians being second-class citizens next to people who drive. Jessica's tweet shows pictures of the sidewalk on Jackson Street right behind us, a sidewalk that she uses often. The sidewalks were clear, but she wonders how people can be expected to overcome the mounds of ice along the edges. She says that clearing sidewalks is a necessity and a safety issue for all communities. Teresa is a registered nurse at Hamilton General with 30 years of experience. After a total knee replacement surgery, she had to use a walker to get to a physio appointment. It was 48 hours after a snowfall, and getting there would have been impossible if she needed to take the bus. Her experience seeing this issue with mobility impairment was frustrating, and it's not easy, she says. She realizes how much she takes for granted climbing over snow mounds or walking on uncleared sidewalks. At the hospitals, preventing slips and falls is a priority. She ensures that patients have dry, obstacle-free floors. She says that by not clearing sidewalks, the city fails to ensure this same safety for pedestrians. EJ is a homeowner in Strathcona. EJ slipped on ice on city property, breaking 3 bones in their ankle. They've been in a cast and using crutches for 2 months. They say they would happily pay $30 a year for snow removal. I'm very lucky I have very good benefits through work, she says, and thank goodness I live in Canada. Melissa was inside when they heard a man yelling for help. Their neighbor, who was walking his 3 little dogs, had fallen on the ice. He ended up with a concussion and a sore back. Melissa took the dogs home while her wife fetched a blanket for the neighbor. Sophie writes about how a very small amount of unshoveled snow made them an hour and a half late, just because they were unable to get to the bus stop a few meters from their door without assistance. If you're able-bodied and your landlord sucks at snow removal, they say, you don't miss work or life because of it. I do. Ashton is from London, but many in Hamilton share her experiences. The gritty slush buildup that some of us just deal with is a major issue for many people with mobility issues. Also, as if insult to injury, road clearing often leaves an aftermath that creates additional issues for everyone who uses sidewalks. Here again, in a tweet from John Davey about Bayfront Park, we see the priority that vehicles, even non-existent ones, are given above everyone else. A massive parking lot is pristine, while sidewalks are covered in ice and have foot-high mounds blocking them. Vacant lots present another problem. No one clears them, and they seem to be immune to enforcement. The northwest corner of Queenston and Nash is a busy corner with 2 very busy bus stops, but the property is vacant. As long as I've lived in the area, I cannot think of a single time that this sidewalk has been cleared. Chris Ritzma has another example of this at John and Robert. He suggests that fines don't work because it means vacant properties still don't get cleared. He says he slips, trips, and he falls, and yet he's even able-bodied. These examples aren't even vacant. Developers get away without clearing their sidewalks, even blocking them entirely, and unowned city property is left uncleared for weeks. And eventually, it just results in sometimes up to a 2-inch thick sheet of ice on the sidewalk. And lastly, I'm sure that everyone is familiar with Graham Crawford's work. Graham points out our city's stated vision, to be the best place to raise a child and age successfully. He goes on to point out that 18% of Hamiltonians are over the age of 65, and 16% of Hamiltonians are under the age of 14. As someone who uses a cane, he says, I can assure councillors and the mayor there's nothing, absolutely nothing laughable about navigating Hamilton's uncleared sidewalks in the winter. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Stuart. Perfect timing. I don't have any questions on my list. Councillor Nan.
Through the chair, Stuart, thanks for coming. The pictures you show are very telling, and I appreciate the data being collected from across the city. Did you receive data from residents from every part of the city?
Some of these are responses to tweets that I've made. Some of them are my tweets. For instance, that one is mine. Okay. And some I went looking for. So
you actually traveled around the city to look at?
No. I searched Twitter for these examples.
Okay, got it. I was like, wow, that was thorough. Thank you. Thank you for your delegation and your time today.
Thank you. No further questions, so thank you, Stuart. Oh, Councillor Wilson.
Thank you, Stuart, for being here and for that delegation. I'm curious, the private developer?
Yes, that's on Quigley Road.
Right here. Do you know what their responsiveness has been in this instance or in others?
My wife is out there pretty well every day, and she says it's never touched.
Yeah. I'm interested in the vacant property issue. As you know, on Locke Street, we've just put a considerable amount of money into it, public money, and we've made the sidewalks wider. We have some vacant storefronts, and despite all that money, and despite the neighborhood being put on hold, we now have some property owners who are not clearing their sidewalk, which really frustrates the whole goal of making it a more accessible place to be. So thank you.
All of council has a handout with URLs for every example. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Stuart.